Hello YouTubers, Novascorvus here. Welcome to episode 6 of the Road to Metroid Switch. For anyone that doesn't know, this is just a series where I discuss my thoughts and opinions and speculate on the latest info regarding a Metroid game coming to E3 2017 for the Nintendo Switch. Now, there has been a bit of info going around recently, so once again I've taken notes of what has gone out. It feels like a long while since I did the last episode because I recorded that like pretty much after I did my reaction to that announcement from Reggie, and that was like a few weeks ago, and I didn't put up till like 2 or 3 weeks later, so apologies for that long delay. But without further ado, let us begin. So first things first, I think this is in chronological order. There's been a rumor going around lately that there's not only one Metroid game coming to E3, there are in fact 2 Metroid games coming to E3. Now, this is insane because there's only one other time throughout the entire Metroid history where 2 Metroid games have come out on the same day, and that was in 2002. We had Metroid Fusion for the Game Boy Advance and then Metroid Prime on the GameCube. And since then, there's been no 2 Metroid games been announced at the same E3. So it seems like at first that this could happen for this E3, but upon closer inspection, it seems like this is just a rumor that was just made up out of hopes. Supposedly, this Metroid game is a first-person Metroid developed by Climax Studios. Now, I've never heard these guys, but they are apparently big into these eerie kind of creepy games, so they seem about right for a Metroid game. But they made a statement when asked about if they were working on a Metroid game, and they said, it's not a direct quote, but it's more or less near to what they were saying. "We are not developing a Metroid game. It sounds stupid." They're not calling the Metroid series stupid, but I think they're calling the idea of them working on a Metroid title stupid. Now, so that pretty much confirms that that second Metroid game isn't real. Of course, they could just be trolling us, and hopefully there is a second Metroid game, but let's not get greedy here. So far, we've seen evidence really for only one Metroid game. Metroid Prime, obviously. And the latest info regarding that is, and this has been the only thing I found out, this info came out around mid-May, and that is Alexander Brandon, the composer for Deus Ex, I think I'm pronouncing that right. He's a fan of Metroid. He's a huge Metroid fan. And recently, Retro Studios have hired him on board to be a part of their new project that they've been developing since Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze in 2014. He hasn't said anything about the project except that he's excited to work on the project and that it's like a dream come true for him to be working with Retro Studios on this project. So, it does seem like if it's a dream come true that he could be working on a Metroid game. Hopefully he is. We don't really know. We haven't gotten anything else apart from that. Like, it's still rumors. Bear in mind that a Metroid game for E3 2017 is still a rumor. Mainly because, sure, we've gotten all these teasers and announcements from Retro and Reggie Fils-Aimé, but how accurate are they? Like, Reggie didn't necessarily say definitely a Metroid game coming. His first quote was, actually can't remember off the top of my head. Oh yeah, that to come back to him in a year's time, they might have a Metroid game out for Nintendo Switch. His most recent quote was that they're trying to get one game from each of their classical franchises onto Nintendo Switch. And then Retro Studios, back in January, had that teaser thing, not even a teaser, 4 pictures of Prime Steak on their Twitter account, I believe. And then they said it's related to their new project. And then they were asked by several people if they were working on a Metroid game, and they responded with, "Be patient, something's in the works." Now, at first glance, that does sound like, be patient, there's a Metroid game in the works, but they might not necessarily be developing a Metroid. Now, I'm a big fan of Metroid. I'm hoping that Metroid is coming to E3. I would absolutely love if there's two Metroid games for Nintendo. Sorry, for E3 2017. Two Metroid games, like, that would be crazy. But I doubt it. And Metroid Prime 4 from Retro, really, as much as I want it and as much as I'm thinking it's going to come out, I'm kind of on the fence about it. I'm about 50, I think there's a 50-50 chance for this to happen. Some people would say it's only a 30% chance, but Metroid has been in and out of a drought, but like, just like before, after Super Metroid, there was an 8-year drought where they couldn't find developers, and then it came out with two games, Fusion and Prime. Most recently, 7 years ago, we'd Other M. That was a 6-year drought before we got Federation Force. And what if it's a similar thing, where now we're going to get two Metroid games to make up for that gap? I still think that's just wishful thinking. I've no idea. E3 2017 is around 2.5 weeks away. It's on June 13th, as far as I know. You can correct me if I'm wrong there. So very soon, we're going to find out if we're actually getting another Metroid game. I'd only say, though, as much as I'm sharing all this information with you, don't take it as 100% confirmation. You know, there's direct quotes and stuff from Reggie and Retro and whatnot, but I'd say take it with a grain of salt. Like, there's still a 50-50 chance. It could go either way. There could be one, there could be nothing. We don't know. So, yeah, I think that's about it. This looks like the shortest Metroid Switch video. I didn't really have anything to talk about because there hasn't been a lot of info since this stuff about the composer. But, so yeah, one more thing worth mentioning is that this isn't connected to this in some way, but there was a fan-made prequel game that came out recently. I think it came out in May. I could be wrong. Called Metroid Rogue Dawn. This game was a fan-made prequel set before Zero Mission, where Ridley sent someone to capture the Metroids of SR388, and that's how the events of the first game came about. Now, Nintendo, of course, being Nintendo, took it down, but the reason I'm mentioning this is that maybe eventually, well, I'm not saying maybe, it's probably unlikely, but eventually it would be really cool if Nintendo do make an official game like that. So it's at this stage it seems quite unlikely. The franchise could go anywhere at this point. It looks like it's gonna stay kind of, I wouldn't say suspended, but like hiatus, if you will. They're not sure what they're gonna do with the franchise, just like we're not sure what to expect from it. So, like, it could go in between Prime and Metroid 2, or it could be a sequel to Metroid Fusion, which I'm hoping for Metroid Dread. Please let that be Metroid Dread. Or they could do a prequel, which I'd be okay with any of those options. Mainly Prime 4 Dread, because Dread is a really cool concept to it, and I personally would love if that happens. When I first heard this info actually about Climax Studios, I was thinking, are they developing Metroid Dread? Like, if they were working on a 3DS title, which I think it was, but it's first person and not 2D, so I don't know, but if it was first person and it was Metroid Dread, and this actually turns out to be real, this would be the greatest moment in Metroid history, to have Prime 4 and Metroid Dread at the same E3. It would be Nintendo history, but I think we all know it's not going to happen. So yeah, I think I'll leave it there. I probably won't record any more episodes coming up since, like I said, E3 is only 2.5 weeks away. So there really isn't any other info. I've been looking, but there's probably some stuff that's gone under the radar, but so there's no really point to make another episode unless I just do discussions. So hopefully E3 2017 will come around and we will get a Metroid, or two Metroids, most likely a Metroid. And if we do not, well, this series will probably seem pointless, but at the end of the day, it's just speculation. We're here to have fun, talk about our favourite gaming series, and but just because it won't come at E3 doesn't mean it won't come somewhere down the line. Like, they have been developing, Retro have been working on this project for 4 years, nearly 4 years, so I imagine it would come at E3, and if it's not ready for E3, then rather than put down your hopes, I'd say get your hopes up a bit more, because if it's not ready after 4 years, that should say something about the grand scale of the game. If it still needs another year or few years to make, then it's going to be a pretty big deal. And one thing I'm actually wondering about is whether if this is Metroid Prime 4, whether it'll be the start of a new trilogy or it'll just be one game and then Metroid 2. Like, take the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise, for example. You have 4 main games and 2 spin-offs. Sister Location, the most recent one, it was a huge, like, pretty big deal, significant to the timeline, but it was still a spin-off game. So it could be that kind of situation with Metroid Prime 4, that it's like Sister Location in the sense that there's this huge grand story that's important to the whole franchise, but it's still, at the end of the day, a spin-off game. I also made a video like a while back, I think just before E3 2015, talking about whether we could see a new Metroid Prime trilogy in 2017. If that turns out to be the case, I will be completely mind blown to see that my predictions, my speculation in that video turned out to be true. I will leave a link for that video or share it to you if you want to see that, let me know. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there. Last thing, I want to give a special thanks to the people in the Metroid fan community in Google Plus for watching my videos, for sharing it around. Thank you so much. Without you, I wouldn't have anyone to share these videos with. And you know, this series is a lot more successful than my original series I did a while back for Federation Force, which was called New Metroid Info. This not only was that bad quality, but the views were kind of up and down. This series is doing quite well, and I'm quite happy with the way it's going, and there's a reasonably good support. The videos are getting average of like 70, so the views are doing great, and people are taking interest, so thank you to everyone watching and everyone sharing it. You're making the series possible, and so yeah. You might also notice as well that I'm recording in a different space, because usually I'm sitting at the table here, and I have the camera over there. I decided I'd do it at this desk to try it out, because I'm planning to move this desk upstairs into a spare room soon. This will be my new recording area, because for the past few years there was just a big computer here that wasn't working, and we finally got rid of it. So I think I should make use of that room and this desk, and what better way than to use it for videos. But if you prefer me using the desk or this setup, just let me know and I can change it and see where it goes from there. So anyway, yeah, let me know your thoughts and speculations below. Are you expecting a Metroid game? What do you think the plot will be like? All that kind of stuff, the gameplay. So yeah, I will see you after E3 2017. Hopefully, fingers crossed, touch wood, we will have a new Metroid game or games. There's still like a chance that we won't, because it's Nintendo at the end of the day, and Nintendo are kind of trollish when it comes to this, but let's hope for the best and expect the worst, I think. So yeah, thank you all for watching. There will be more episodes to come in the future. If Metroid is announced at E3, I will continue the series and discuss that game right up to its release, and who knows, onwards to the next Metroid game after that, but that could be a long way down the line. Even if there's not a Metroid game, I will still do this until we get a new Metroid game, even if it turns out not to be on Nintendo Switch. At the end of the day, at least we had the opportunity, at least we did this. So yeah, again, that's the last thing I want to say. Thank you all so much for watching, and please subscribe. I hope you all enjoyed, and hope for the best at E3. Nova Scores out.